Hello, it's Matt again. What? Oh, hold on a second. There. It's Matt. Remember me? History, distant learning style? I know I look a little different there because I don't have the tie and the desk, and I just have this white wall behind me and my t-shirt here. But, with the pandemic here, I'm just a little bit more relaxed. And anyway, so last time I saw you, we were talking about ancient Egypt and like thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, right? And this year, we are jumping all the way to the Middle Ages. Middle Ages? Hey, isn't that the time of like knights and jousting and kings and queens and castles? And yeah, just calm down there. Yeah. But that was only Europe. During the Dark Ages, the medieval time, that was just Europe. If you were to step outside of Europe, you'd see that the rest of the world wasn't up to their necks in famine and, disease and sickness, and the rest of the world was actually thriving. The rest of the world was growing, and there was a lot of innovation and it was just fantastic. And that is what you're going to learn this year. You're going to look at the other parts of the world. Yeah, we're going to look at Europe. Don't worry. We're going to look at that. But I want to look at the rest of the world. I want to learn about where did things come from? Some of the ideas that were developed, the things that we take for granted today were comes from 1,500 years ago. So, let's put on our sleuth outfits and let's go discover some history. Now, before we go jumping and diving into China's history during the Middle Ages, ranging from 500 to about 1500 BCE, CE. Let's talk about China today. One thing that we look at when we study history is how did the land affect the people that were living there? So let's look at China today. China today is the fourth largest landmass in the world. It's about the size of the US without Alaska. So you could kind of take China and sit it kind of right on top of the US, and it would kind of fit in there. And population-wise, though, it is the largest. It comes in at 1.393 billion people. That's with a B. People, billion people. That's a lot of people. Anyway, on that land, or in that land, I should say, on that land, in that land, on that land, in the land of China, on the land of China, yes, there we go, on the land of China, you will see that it is surrounded by lots of ocean to the east, the Pacific Ocean, lots of mountains and rough terrain to the south and west, and Mongolia to the north. In the western part of China, you will find lots of desert. In fact, 20% of the land in China is desert. 70% of the land in China is mountainous. And all of that is mostly central and to the west. So as you can imagine, those big cities we were talking about, they're mostly in the East Coast. Yeah. Let's talk about the population. The population of the largest city is Shanghai. And now I know this says 24 million, but since I did some research, and that was back in 2018, now as of 2019, There are 27 million people in Shanghai, still the third largest city in the world, but it does come in at number 1 in China. Coming in at number 2 in China is Beijing. Beijing has about, again, that says 18, but as of 2019, it is about 24 million people. Now, on the bottom of my list here is Wuhan, and the reason I point that out at a mere 8 million people, give you an idea of the United States' largest city is New York City, the Big Apple, at 8 million people. Compared to Shanghai and other Chinese cities, it's not much of a Big Apple. In fact, it's more like one of those small, tart green apples growing in my yard that I just throw across the street at trees. Let's move on to the resources. China has so many resources, such a vast amount of resources for us, for the world that they share, that they export. The largest part of their economy is manufacturing. They also have tea, and they grow tobacco and corn and wheat. But the resource that we oftentimes think about, and we're going to really look at this year, is silk. Because silk goes way back to ancient times and brings us to the Middle Ages and still affected China. It was China's connection to the West. And we're going to learn all about that. Matt, what should I go see? Well, let me tell you, there's quite a few things that you might want to go check out. First of all, I see the Great Wall of China, a spectacular human feat. And no, you can't see it from outer space. Although I heard that if you're in low Earth orbit and it's on a snowy day and you know where to look, you just might see it. Also, when you're in China, you can see the Forbidden City. Yes, the Forbidden City, built by one of China's emperors during the Middle Ages to keep out the ruffians and keep out the peasants so he can live in peace. It's a huge city surrounded by a large wall to protect the emperor. Also, you can see the terracotta warriors built back in the ancient days, and you probably learned about that last year. They were still there, and they're still there today. I'd go check those out. And something else that's world-renowned is the New Year celebration in China. Man, do they know how to celebrate New Year's. It's a party, and you wouldn't want to miss it. So if you're going to China, I'd go there in January. Of course, that is winter, and their winters are kind of brutal. So anyway, that's all for today. We'll continue jumping in and looking at history. So be safe, wash your hands, wear your masks, and we'll see you next time. Bye!